how long have you actually lived here then?
This is my 11th year. I never expected it to last quite so long. I thought maybe 5. But this is my 11th year here.
When you came in, were all these, the terraces,
the
walls, were they there?
No, they were all like that. They were just rubbish. I mean, it was overgrown and abandoned for 30 years. So we've been digging them out. And over the years, slightly replacing.
Do you do all that?
No, I have a Tunisian gentleman who helps me to lay the stones. I'm not a dry stone waller yet.
This is all olive grove, isn't it?
Yeah, these are all the olives. Well, they go right down, of course. I've got 400. It's quite a lot.
So you harvest them?
Oh, yes, I'm an agriculturist. At least that's what I'm taxed at.
And the house itself, Dirk, how old is it?
Well, this bit I built, but the whole house is from, well, there's a stone up there, 1641. I think it's been here a long time than that. It's in 3 parts. There's one bit, and then the middle bit, and this end bit. It was all just built on the hill. There's no damp course. It was so isolated when, in the war, that they used to hide the Jewish children that they could sneak out. And they hid them up in the house here, because nobody could get at them, and the Germans never came in, fortunately. Their names are still written up on the wall in there. And then they took them by boat to Barcelona from the bay. And this part is from May till October is where we sit. This is what we call the green room. Nobody ever sits inside there because there's usually no point, so we just sit here. And that's my main place if you'd like to sit there.
And you know, I cannot get over the fact that the grapes are real.
Yes, they are real.
Dirk, would you describe yourself as an expatriate now?
That's it. I think, Elaine, I have to admit that I am, because I think that's the technical term for us. I hate it. It always sounds like those people on the back of cattle boats going to Australia, but I suppose that's what I am. I am a patriot of England, but I'm an expatriate insofar as I live in France and have done now for 11 years. I have a British passport, and I'm a French resident, and I'm extremely happy. I'm not an emigrant, because that means something quite different, doesn't it? That means becoming another citizen or something.
Are you ever homesick?
No. Never. It's a very difficult question to answer that, because it upsets people I know terribly in England, especially the press. I'm not homesick. I wouldn't have come here if I had been. I made a decision when I was 50 to leave, and that's what I've done. And I left for very good reasons of my own, mostly political. I don't like, you know, that famous brand of sausages. I don't miss kippers because I can get them here. I don't miss the tea because I can get that here. I don't miss anything, really, except my family, whom I do miss.
But you're still an English patriot, so what does that mean?
I'm an English patriot for an England that's gone. I suppose when we get to my age, we always say that, but it's an England that has disappeared for various reasons, evolutionary ones mostly, revolutionary ones, because that's what's happening anyway. And it isn't anywhere that I know anymore. But the last time I was back in England, I suddenly was foreign for the first time, because people didn't behave as they used to behave when I was there. People were ruder, more aggressive. I'm not talking about the young people, because young people aren't, strangely. But my contemporaries, my age group, are tired, I think. There's a terrible feeling of defeat about them. They don't care. The streets are dirty. I've never seen such a dirty city as London now is. And I don't mean because of Arabs or Pakistanis. I think that's all healthy and good, that you should have different people coming in. Evolution. But there's a malaise. There's a sadness. And I'm a patriot for an England that I knew.
For the past?
No, I hate the past because the past is part of the present, and I hate nostalgia because that's something you do when you're getting old and sitting in bed and saying, oh, I miss the past. No, it's not that. It's a way of life that died. You know, we had a great feast, all of us in England, up till 1939, and we took it very quickly without knowing we were eating such goody food, and it was a removable feast. Nobody realizes that that was all taken away from us. And there was a different attitude when we all came back. my generation anyway, men and women, from that war, because we tried to pick up the feast where we'd left it, and there weren't even crumbs. And there aren't any. It's a welfare state, and people live better, and people have many more things, and, you know, national health and all that sort of stuff. But I don't honestly think, I don't feel, when I go back to England, that anybody's happier. But I'm possibly quite wrong, because I am, in this respect, coming back to your first question, it's not so much being an expatriate as now I find much worse. I'm an alien. But when you talk about the the withdrawing that I have and the privacy, it is obsessional, people call it. I simply like to be on my own. I like the silence. I couldn't live in the city. I mean, here already, the towns are creeping in all around us. The buildings coming up. I mean, the big song of the south of France now is no longer the seagull or the swallow, it's the bulldozer. Everybody's building little nasty villas and their little beastly swimming pools and all that, and it's noise and noise, and the chainsaw goes on, and another olive, 400 years old, is going for a block of flats. Well, it's creeping in on me. I've got 10 years, if I'm lucky, left to enjoy it. But it's what I wanted. But I am private only insofar as I don't think that my private life has anything to do with the world in general. I am the most selfish man, I think, that exists. I made a plan for myself after the war, which was to look after me. I don't want to share it with anyone. I don't want to share it with families or children or kiddies or any of that crap. I don't want it. I can't be more truthful than that. It's never been a part of my plan. My plan was my survival, my own personal survival, to do what I wanted to do. And in order to do that, I had to lumber things off. The reason I'm talking to you, and I have a television team in my house for the first time, I might hasten to add, it's simply that I loved working with you and talking to you the first time I did. And I realized that there was something you could say to people, because television is so abused and maltreated. But there are people who actually do listen. They don't just watch Coronation Street and go to the lavatory and drink cocoa. There is something else that you can get over in television. So that's why you're basically here, because I hope I've got something to say and that you're going to ask me what it is I can answer you. I cannot do those shows that I've had to do, those talk shows and things that go on at night with an audience of cretins sitting up there. They've come from Wigan or Bristol or wherever it is they come down and shriek when you say bogies or nose pick or baby's bottoms. That's to die. I don't understand that television. That's a part of being Bruce Forsyth, which is estimable because he's brilliant. But this sort of thing, okay, I'll try, I'll go through with you.
You became a film star. It looked like a very enviable life to all of us. And now you say you detested it all?
Well, it does look like an enviable life if you're living, I think as you said the other night, if you're coming into Euston Station and you see all those little houses on the side of the line, and you see the light is on for a moment, and somebody's back parlour is lit. You see tiny fragments of people's lives, which they don't know that you're looking at. Grabbed. You grab them and you see them as you pass. They're going about their business, whatever they're doing, laying a table or whatever it is. It's a life. You may never see them again in your life. But my life to those people has to be enviable, because it must be. I mean, I had more money. I had more opportunity to travel. I had more of everything than they had. Also, I had more talent. And I used only the talent that I had. This is not conceit. This is something you are given. It's no great deal. I detested the commercial vulgarity of the cinema, much as I detest the commercial vulgarity of television, which gives you every degree to play down to the lowest common denominator and does not lift anybody up, but takes everybody down to the lowest thought that they can have. That, I think, is fatal and wrong. And that's why I didn't like the cinema. I didn't like becoming a public property.
Why didn't you stop?
Because you can't stop. Anyway, you're under contract. You have obligations. And truthfully, it was great. The going was good. The perks, as my father used to call them, were fun. I loved the locations and going out to America or going to Spain or going to St. Moritz. That was great. I liked having the Rolls Royce. The greatest fun was the making of the movie, the actual construction of the movie, the arguments and discussions before and the script things, and then getting on the floor and fixing things. And as I keep on saying, and will say again, suddenly finding that you were part of a troupe of people who cared. That was terribly important. And before the unions got too strong, which they did eventually, and totally unknown gentlemen with cloth caps would say, pull out the plugs, we've had it now, you're on strike. None of us on the floor actually knew this man or these men. They never came on the set. Then it began to crumble. But the majority of us were there to make a movie. And it was terribly exciting. It's what happened after the movie was done, when it got into the hands of our, what we call distributors, and the producer, and the gentleman flogging the deal, the people that come to Cannes every year who were so appalling. They say of Cannes that the lobby of the Carlton Hotel in Cannes is hell, because everybody you least want to meet in the world is there in that lobby, and they are. The awful thing to me is that most of them are still alive and still making movies. But that's another matter. But that was the worst part. When the crew and I, or my other actors and myself and the crew, had finished, then we had to go and sell the product. And that was very ugly. Ugly.